Oh my god! I plan to come up to the mountain to watch the stars. I'm gonna show you some stars and then we're gonna get out of here. Ah, Jesus Christ, no, I can't bear it. I can't bear it. Let's get out of here. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Alan. This is my life in Taiwan and welcome here to gorgeous Green Island. I've just arrived on the island and I've come here to the beautiful Lighthouse to introduce this video where I'm gonna be traveling around the island, and every location that I visit, whether it's a restaurant, a hotel, a tourist spot, I'm gonna be giving you my rating in comparison to the Google rating. Starting with this lighthouse where unfortunately it says on Google that they open till 6. They closed at 5. I'm here for sunset, so immediately we're off to a bad start. 4.5 on Google. I'm gonna give it a 4. Very beautiful, incredibly picturesque, but cannot get inside, so it's a 4 from me. So too late to explore the lighthouse, but perfect timing for a beautiful sunset, after which we went for a traditional Green Island dinner, apparently with traditional Green Island naked waiters. Wow. So for the first meal, we've decided to come to Law Surfu Master Law. The first dish I've gone for is this incredibly special deer fried rice. I have eaten springbok in South Africa before, but this seems to be a very popular dish on this island. I had no idea. No idea. Boring. Let's give it a go, see how it tastes. That's really good, really tender. But I think Taiwanese people have a very strong aversion to deer meat, a little bit like they do with goat or lamb. And I've gone for an island speciality. Just take a look at that. That is a fried flying fish. Let's get stuck in. It's a really meaty, thick, dense fish. Not very light, but really tasty. Probably a bit similar to mackerel, but less oily. And they were very insistent on telling me that the wings and the fins are also edible. So you eat those just like a bit like a cookie. Now, just to get back to the point of the video, this restaurant surprisingly has a 3.3-star Google rating, and I'm surprised because as far as I'm concerned, the food was perfect, fresh, service was great, the atmosphere was wonderful, so I feel 3.3 is unjustified. I'm going to give this place a 4 out of 5 rating, so if you're ever here on Green Island, definitely come check it out. So we finished up our dinner at Master Law's place, then I had the awesome idea of scooting up Green Island's mountain road to get a clear view of the night sky away from the light pollution of the town. An awesome idea that soon became a nightmare. Ah, Jesus Christ! Oh my god! I plan to come up to the mountain to watch the stars, and it's full of bugs. Okay, I'm gonna show you some stars and then we're gonna get out of here. Ah, Jesus Christ! No, I can't bear it. I can't bear it. Are you not freaked out? Okay, let's get out of here. I really want to see the stars though. Oh my god! This is like the real wild. It's fucking scary. Oh, there's the lighthouse. There isn't a rating on Google for this mountain road view of the stars, but safe to say, from me, it's a big fat 0. We did manage to get some shots of the stars from the beach, but soon enough, it was time for a midnight snack, so we headed to Aliang Shang Jipai for a deep fried chicken treat. And this place, unfortunately to say, has 2.7 stars on Google, one of the lowest rated restaurants I've ever seen. From the reviews I read, it's a bit expensive. I would tend to agree. This jipai is $80, but let's give it a try. I wouldn't say it's a 2.7 out of 5, a little bit dry compared to Fongjia Jipai, which is incredibly juicy. Standard average, I'd say 3.5 out of 5. After finishing the jipai, we headed back to our hotel for a rest, and in the morning we're given a really informative talk by the owner on some of the best tourist spots to hit up on the island. But before we could get to exploring, the first night's hotel needed a review. We stayed at Star Hotel. The Google review rating, I think, is a 4.4 on Google, while the rooms might be at a 2 or 3 star level. Very humid here, so the wallpaper is peeling off. The service and the personality and the welcoming nature of the host would be a 5 or 6 star. Expert, wonderful Green Island service. So I'm going to give this a total of 3.5 stars, which I think is a fair balance between the condition of the rooms and the amazing warm hospitality of the host. And for the first breakfast review of the trip, we have come to Chenshang Taotan for a bit of dumping, and surprisingly, I've ordered 2 vegetarian options. Seaweed dumping. I guess there's a first time for everything. Bit of soy sauce. Not sure the seaweed dumpling actually works that well. Not too bad. Onto the next vegetarian dumpling. And this one is basil or basil, as our American friends would like to say. Oh wow, I like that. It's like an Italian style dambi. I had no idea how much I like basil. And the Google rating for this place is 3.6 stars out of 5. And to be honest, I think this is the first place I'm gonna accept that that's about right. Nothing fantastic, nothing exceptional. Decent prices, and the kind of 3.6 out of 5 level food. On to the next place. So after breakfast, we began a day of sightseeing and headed around the island to the first stop, which was Dao Prison, where apparently there's 100 inmates here, and it has a Google review rating of 3.7 stars out of 5. No idea who's giving it a Google rating. I don't know how to give this a rating without going inside, but I did notice that this is the only prison I've ever seen with a goat farm. These are the badass goats of Green Island. What did you guys do? Who did you kill? What do you know? Next stop brings us to Chai Coast snorkeling area, and yes, Green Island is incredibly famous for scuba diving and snorkeling, but as you can see, or maybe you can see, the weather is not too agreeable at the moment. So although this place does have a 4.7 star Google rating, I can't give my score because I don't think we're going to get the chance to go snorkeling. Green Island's diving in general, I think, is worthy of a 5-star according to some of my diving friends. Not everything on the tour around the island is going to be fun, positive and happy, and interestingly I just came across this Air Force monument which is here to commemorate a plane crash that happened, and apparently the airplane was never recovered. 4 people were lost, one of whom was Japanese. Really interesting place with an absolutely stunning view. I guess if I was to pass away in an airplane crash and they were to honor me with a monument, not much of a better place with a view like this in which to be honored. This is the Little Great Wall. Google rating 4.5. I'd love to give it a 5 stars, but a little bit steep for me. Let's give it a 4. Next up on the tour of Green Island is Guanine Cave, a very religious, holy place, kind of like a shrine to the goddess of mercy, Guanine. And the reason that it's found here is there's a natural cave in the volcanic rock, and in the center of the cave is kind of like a stalactite or a stalagmite that kind of resembles Guanine. Google rating is a 3.9. I'm gonna have no questions with that whatsoever. I trust the people that have been here's ratings. Here we are on the southern peninsula of the island at Dao, big great white shark beach, and on Google this beach actually scores a 4.8, which I have great contention with. Yes, it's an absolutely stunning white sand beach with beautiful blue ocean, but there's no infrastructure here. It's literally the middle of nowhere. There's not a bar to be seen, there's not a shop, there's literally nothing here other than a white beach. So I guess if you're a real beach person and you just want to get away from it all, then maybe a 4.8 is justified. But for me, a beach is not a beach unless there's a beach bar serving cocktails in coconuts. So for me, I think I'll lower the rating just a little bit, maybe 4.0, 4.1, 4.2. Just driving past this row of rental scooters, and I noticed every single one has the key in the ignition. So when people say, is Taiwan safe? Can you trust Taiwanese people? Yes, of course you can in Taiwan, but here on Green Island, they take trust to a whole other level. Okay, and for the next food review, we have come to Mr. Hot Dog. Funnily enough, Mr. Hot Dog doesn't sell hot dogs, but what they do have is this flying fish egg and venison sausage pizza. 2 ingredients I never thought I'd see on a pizza. That is really good. The fish eggs, or the flying fish eggs, like pop in your mouth. I really like that feeling. And then the venison sausage really adds like an extra gamey flavor. I'm not sure if venison is for everybody, but it's definitely for me. Good, wholesome food, nothing to write home about, but sitting next to the ocean like this, the view, absolutely stunning. So a Google rating for this place at the moment is 4.4. I'm gonna drop it down a little bit to maybe 4.0, just because their name is Mr. Hot Dog, they don't have hot dogs, and they don't serve Taiwan beer. They only serve Budweiser, which for me is not really a beer, it's more like swamp water. So for me, 4 stars, not bad. Could do better with a bit of Taiwan beer and some hot dogs. After lunch, we headed to the Green Island White Terra Memorial Park, located at the former Green Island Prison. And I explored the prison as well as some other really somber historical locations. And due to the sensitive nature of this place and its history, I decided to make a full video about the place, which will be published on the channel in future. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel in order to make sure you don't miss that one. But soon enough, night fell upon the island and it was time for dinner. Dinner review number 2 comes from Some Bar Seafood, but it would be remiss of me to come to Green Island and not have some fresh shrimp. The good thing is they've got Taiwan beer. 3.9 stars on Google. I'm trying to find reasons to give them a higher rating, but I can't. Lots of the foods are not available because it's out of season. 3.9 stars from me too. Second hotel review of the trip, and that brings us to Linghua, where I stayed through Airbnb, and their Google rating is a massive 4.8 stars. I'm afraid I can't agree. I can't give this place 4.8 stars. The place is clean, actually in a much better condition than the first place, but there was less interaction with the host and a little bit less hospitality. It's going to have to be a simple 4 stars, despite the room being cleaner. Not a bad place if you're on Green Island and Linghua is available. Definitely recommend staying here. And for breakfast on the second day, we've got octopus tongyobing from Amada Qtongbing. Absolutely piping hot, but had to continue the seafood theme being here on the island. And if you look inside as well as the octopus, there's a generous helping of basil, which I'm becoming a big fan of during this trip, and with a Google rating of 4.4 stars, I'm going to agree with that. Nothing I can say can change that. So a successful second breakfast of the trip, and it was important we were well fed as we were planning to hike up Ame Mountain and would need all the energy we could get for this relatively short but quite steep trail up to the second highest point on the island. So we made it to the top of Ame-san Trail, and the Google rating for this place is a 4.1. I'm going to give it a 4.5. It would be a 5 out of 5 because of these beautiful views, but the walk up here, somebody got bitten by a leech, which of course has to take some of the points away. But yeah, beautiful place, really stunning, and from up here you can see why the island is called Green Island. Literally 360-degree views of just green, lush vegetation everywhere. Absolutely beautiful, really stunning. Gonna take a break, have a rest up here, then walk back down, maybe get some food. And as a reward for that lengthy hike up the mountain, I've brought myself to Paizi for some mango ice. Yum, yum. The Google rating is 4.5. I have no reason to disagree with that, so from me, I'll agree, 4.5 stars. So after the ice we had for lunch, and as evening began to fall on the island, we headed for one of the most famous tourist attractions to warm up a little, and we were once again greeted by an awesome, friendly host. Okay, so as you can tell from the daft hat, I'm in a hot spring, but this is an incredibly special hot spring. This is Dao, and this is one of 3 saltwater hot springs on the planet. But the interesting thing about this place is that they sell food as you come in, and they've got a natural hot spring out on the beach where I went earlier to boil some eggs. So randomly there were people boiling shrimp, sweet corn, boiling up drinks in the natural hot spring. So definitely a new experience for me, eating eggs in a hot spring. And this place is rated at a 4.2 on Google, but I can't let it get away with that. It has to be much higher. Such a special experience. One of only 3 in the world. Not to mention the service when we came in. The lady gave us a tour and introduced the place perfectly. So I'm going to boost my Google rating up to 4.8 for Dao Prison. After a couple of hours in the hot spring and having only eaten a couple of eggs, we were hungry and continued the hot theme for the evening and went for all-you-can-eat venison barbecue, where as we sat down, things were definitely heating up at the table next to us. For today's dinner, we've come to Hoku Cairo, which is only 250 NT for all-you-can-eat venison, pork, chicken, loads of vegetables, and disappointingly, this place only has a 3.0 Google star rating, which I think is a little bit unfair. It is a little bit rustic, a little bit down to earth, certainly not a 5-star restaurant, but it's busy, lots of locals eating here it seems, so I think I'm going to boost that rating up a little bit, give it a 4 out of 5 on my Google star rating. After a couple of cocktails at a local bar, we got some rest, and the next morning it was time for my final bed and breakfast hotel review of the weekend. Goes to Linghua B and B. This is probably the most expensive place we stayed. I think it's a little over $3,000 for the night, but the location is absolutely perfect. Sea views, beautiful, clean, modern rooms, swimming pool that we didn't get to use, really friendly, amiable staff that looked after us and let us know about different events and activities that we could take part in, and a really delicious breakfast that we ate in a neighboring partner hotel. So, although on Google they have a rating of 4.0 stars, I feel that's a little bit unjust. This was certainly the best place we stayed, and it's going to get a 4.8 star review from me. So after a couple more quick snacks on our final day, one of which was this very cute and quite delicious 4.5 star Google rated toast cafe that also earned 4.5 stars from me. And this very meaty looking pig's trotter from Naime Bingdian U that I gave a quite generous 4 stars. It was time to get on the boat and make our way back to Taiwan and back to real life. But I want to say thanks to Green Island for providing me with a much needed getaway. Thanks to all the people we met that welcomed us, and of course thank you to you guys for watching this video and for your continued support of my channel. Comment down below with your Green Island stories and ratings, but time for me to say goodbye. So as for now and as always, I'll see you next time in my life in Taiwan. Peace.